Whether you're into unsolved mysteries, solved mysteries, or creating your own mysteries, Amazon Music's got millions of podcast episodes waiting. Just download the Amazon Music app and start listening to your favorite podcasts ad-free. Included with Prime.
Welcome to the Awakening Women Show. I'm your host, Leanne Oaten, a former counselor with a background in counseling psychology. I'm a mentor for high-achieving, ambitious women with over 13 years in the mental health and empowerment space. I've guided hundreds of women and have influenced over 100,000 through my platforms, podcast, and other courses, programs, and mentorship. I'm also the creator of the Relationship Clarity program, formerly known as End the Cycle, which you will hear me mention a lot of times as we go through the episodes. This program is to help women break free from destructive relationship cycles and come to clarity and power about their next step. This show is for the woman who knows her relationship struggles go deeper than the usual conflict. You know there's something more going on, but you can't quite nail it down or pinpoint what that is. You'll find clarity here, empowerment, truth, and validation. Clarity on whether your relationship can be healed or whether it's time to reclaim your life and move forward. What started as me sharing my own experiences quickly became a movement because the truth is so many ambitious, successful women are stuck in confusing and draining relationship dynamics while trying to rise in every other area of their life, career, motherhood. This is you, you're not alone, and you don't have to keep living this way. Inside this podcast, you'll hear some of my most downloaded episodes, plus fresh content designed to help you break patterns, reclaim your wholeness, and decide once and for all if this relationship is where you belong. I'm so glad you found this space. Let's dive in. Welcome to this edition of the Awakening Women podcast. I'm your host, Leanne Oaten. And in this episode, I'm talking about something that got me a little fired up. It was a question or sort of a sharing of a situation inside of the Clarity 365 Lounge. This is my membership space. If you want to get access to daily mini trainings from me in audio format, a community, and weekly Q&A, this is where women are gathering to get those daily touch points. There's more information in the show notes if you'd like to check that out. But one of the members, I answered one of the questions, and I'll just paraphrase it a bit and shorten it because obviously like the full answer is in the group. But it got me thinking. So a lot of the things that women ask me are around, how do I get him to this? He's doing this. What should I do? Even the fact that they're in that, and it's fine because this is all learning new skills, right? This is decades. It's taken me decades to learn this stuff and lots of mentorship. So it's not any shame. I love teaching women this stuff because you know what I love is when I see the click happen in a woman and her fire gets lit back up again. A couple of the questions this week were actually kind of around the same thread, and that's what I want to talk about, is around a man's passivity. When a man is like, so what are we doing? Where are we at? Are you leaving? Are we getting a divorce? How fucking unattractive is that? Like, I want you to just think of how gross that is, that a man, is placing that fully on you. I know I'm on to something when I get fired up. And we take it on because we're like, let me take it on. We're used to it, right? Let me fix it. Let me just add more to my plate. Let me just run this whole entire circus. I'll be the emotional CEO of the home. I'll take care of all the kids, the home, everything that the kids need, their doctor's appointments. Are they mentally well? Do they need counseling? Do they need to go to the doctor? Do they need to go to the naturopath? Do we need to get some blood tests? Who's taking them? Who's doing it? Who's also running a business or working a side job or whatever, going to school while doing all this? And then you're told, well, that's your job because you're home. We take on everything and then we're like, all right, sure, I'll take on more. Sure. I'll also lead the relationship and make sure that everything is fine there. Well, women are exhausted and they're turned off and they have no desire and they wonder, is there something wrong with me? No, that is your body's natural response to the bullshit. And we have to really get clear on that and see it as that and be, as I say, disgusted by that behavior. It's gross. When you get to that place, you can't unsee it anymore. You can't unsee it when you can see how disgusting it is. A man's passivity is highly unattractive. And so the questions were around long standing silent treatment or being in the distance phase of the cycle as I teach it. And so women are asked typically like around the phase of the cycle they're in as I teach it, and then asking questions about how do they navigate themselves, because we don't talk about the men and dumping in there. It's about what do I need to look at within myself in this particular situation. So I train women how to ask questions from their deeper parts instead of he's doing this, what do I do? What do I say? And so when there's distance for months at a time, when he's saying, so what are we doing? What are you doing? Are you leaving? Are we getting a divorce? He's putting the onus on you to lead the thing. He's putting the whole thing on you to protect his ego, because this way he can't say, I failed, I left, I walked away. She did it. She's the one that walked away, and she's the one that made the decision, and I'm the poor victim in this. And this is what a lot of these guys do, is poor me. I'm the one that was hurt here, and I'm totally blindsided, didn't even know. And this is the story they tell everyone around them, right? So, or who knows, right? Who cares? Really, truly, there's nothing you can do about that. All you can do is be a woman of integrity and know that you operated from personal integrity through the whole thing. So to wrap this up and kind of bring it home is I want you to just feel into what the emotion is around when you are placed as the one that needs to decide. And yes, you do need to decide, because we don't tolerate, we accept or reject. And you do have to make a decision. However, like, he's not going to do it, and he's just passively waiting so that he doesn't have to do anything. And so I want you to feel into how that feels for you in your body, that you have this man. And I remember this is what a psychologist said to me. He said, the ship's going down and he's rearranging the deck furniture. And so many women are like, I don't get it. All he has to do is like this, and the other. If only he could just do this, that, and the other, then we could save our family. But instead, I'm holding the whole weight of I'm blowing up the family because he's putting it all on me. And that's why. This is why women feel this heavy fucking weight, because there's never been someone else there to share it with. It's all been put on you, and you have taken it, right? It's like the saying, if you can't complain about what's on your plate because you're the one that put it there. And I understand it doesn't seem that way when you're trying to raise a family. You've got kids. I did 3 kids and all that. I get it. But it took me a long time to recognize how much I was carrying and that it just was not okay. And we all have to get to a certain level where we've had enough of our own bullshit and we are just done. And we look at ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves, why am I doing this? And so when we're talking about women making this decision to quote unquote blow up your life, this is why I teach what I teach. I want you to be prepared so that it isn't blowing up your life. You've got everything so lined up to the best of your ability. That doesn't mean there's not going to be curveballs and you can't control the other person. You can only control yourself. But the women who go through my system, my methodical process, and they make their exit plan before they're ready to leave. This is like making a business plan, maybe when you're not quite ready to start the business. You don't have to be there, but I get women in there in that mindset now, no matter what. It's the most powerful thing you can do for yourself, I promise you. And so when you do that, you'll get to a place where, yes, there's going to be sadness. Yes, there's going to be loss and grief and the emotions of it. Yes, and you're going to feel it all, but you're not going to stay stuck there. And because you've got this groundwork happening, you're not blowing up your life. Women who go through this process say things like, it went better than I imagined. It went really smoothly. I got everything that I wanted out of it. It actually didn't go as bad as I thought, because they had a plan and they were emotionally regulated to the best of their ability because they'd already done that work. They weren't going into it triggered as hell, reacting, making big mistakes, because they didn't have the right counsel and the right guidance from someone that knew how to guide them. And I show them where women make mistakes, some of the mistakes that I certainly made. And we can do things to the best of our ability, and we're never going to be perfect. This is a very difficult situation as it is. But you're going to be able to come out much better if you have some kind of plan on all fronts, financially, emotionally, with your mindset, because there's going to be a part of you that probably wants to get pulled back into it. So you need to have a support system around this. And this is, when you come into the Clarity Lounge, this is more around understanding the patterning, understanding the cycles, understanding if it's something that's workable or not, because that's typically where women are coming into. We don't go into the paradigm shifting, the belief shifting, the emotional mastery, the boundaries, the exit planning, and all of that. That is inside of the Inner Circle VIP. That's where you get access to everything as far as my program vault goes, and you get an extra weekly VIP coaching in Telegram with me if you're in the VIP. And that's where you get my whole entire system. But if you are just wanting, like right now, just to get started in something and understand the cycle and the patterns, if you've been researching narcissism like it's your job, what I tell women to do is stop doing that and just focus in on what I'm teaching. I ask them to stop scrolling and researching while they're working with me. Because when you're listening to too many people, you start feeling pulled in all these different directions, and you start like comparing notes. Well, this one said this, and this one said this is narcissism, but this one says this is, and you just, it's ridiculous what happens. It's part of the emotional addiction. And it's not productive, as you know, because if it was, you'd already have your answer, right? More information does not equal transformation. It's implementation, and it's paradigm shifting, and it's belief shifting, and it's identity shifting. It's all of those things. And that's more of what we do inside of the Inner Circle. However, when you come into the lounge, there is daily trainings that I go into the paradigm shifting and into the identity shifting and into the future self programming and all of those things. So you are getting a taste of all of those things to put into practice, simple tools and shifts and things you can do. But the part here that I really can't stress enough, truly, is to get the right support. Because if you are just surrounded by the same stuff, the same people telling you the same things, you're in therapy and it's just kind of stagnant, it's not really moving you forward anywhere, then you need something different. And typically that's the women that come in to see me. They've already done the 12-step programs. They've done the EMDR. They've done the therapy. They've done the couples therapy. They've done the specialists in narcissism, the specialists in OCD, and all these things that they're trying to diagnose their partner with. But it misses the mark. It misses the mark completely. And that's why when women come in after all of that, and you'll see on my pages how many women have said, I've done all this therapy. Nothing works until I came into this situation, until I came into your program or mentorship. That's because I completely teach things on a different level. I don't go in there with the idea that we're here to fix him, because you are the common denominator. And I am very honest about that, because I had to look at that within myself. I got so sick of living in the same bullshit that I had to look at myself one day and be like, and I remember the day I did this. I looked in the mirror after a particularly upsetting day, and I just looked in the mirror and I'm like, I'm the problem, because I keep putting myself through this shit. I'm making myself available to it. What am I doing? And I remember having that awakening moment in the mirror, those truth be told moments. And it wasn't out of a hateful place. It was out of a self-loving place of like, Leanne, like, who's going to get you out of this pattern? No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to do it for you. And so, yeah, we have to buckle up and put on our big girl panties and start leading our own lives when we're in these situations. And unfortunately, it's not easy. Unfortunately, it is painful. And unfortunately, yes, it is work. It requires investment. And the women that don't see it seriously like that end up repeating it. I get DMs all the time from women I left this marriage. I've been in this new one for a year, 2.5 years, 3, whatever. And we're right back into the same thing. And that's really sad, especially when there's kids involved that have been moved once again. And it's another, I don't want that for any woman. I feel like that's the worst case scenario. If you have young minor kids and you move them into another scenario that's just going to break up again. So I don't advise that. That's for another podcast altogether. My views on blending and all that, I don't agree with it. I don't think it's the right thing to do, but that's me. And when you don't have kids involved, do whatever you want. Put yourself at risk however you want. I don't want that for anyone, but we get to choose what we're going to do for ourselves. But when you have kids, you have to choose what's best for them. And then it comes to the point where you realize, well, I'm staying for the kids. And then you shift and go, well, I actually have to leave for them because I don't want them to see me degrading myself any longer, because they see it. They see it. And so I want to put the onus back on you to lead yourself out of this, because he's not going to. And if you have a passive man that's just sitting back, like, what are we doing? Like I said, imagine this guy, the ship's going down and he's trying to figure out where to put the chairs instead of like saving the ship from going down. Watch what he does. I remember thinking, I just wish that he cared. You can't make someone care. You cannot make someone care. You can't make someone step up if they're about to lose everything, their relationship and their children, and that isn't enough to shake them awake. Nothing will. They're never going to be any different. And so many women have that self-doubt, like maybe it's me or maybe it's something that I'm doing. And I'm not saying that there isn't work you need to do. This isn't about saying women are perfect and men are all shit. We have our own work to do. You have your own work to do. And this is why this isn't just about come in and just leave. No, you've got to do the groundwork and you've got to do the work to make sure you don't repeat it. And if you are constantly researching and obsessed with, is he a narcissist? And you're just listening to all the shit beyond the basic understanding. Yes, I'm being gaslit. Yes, I'm questioning myself. Yes, I feel crazy and I can't talk to him. And he gives me days of silent treatment and he has abusive traits. You don't need to keep trying to find the answer anymore. That's part of your own emotional addiction in that. So we have to stop that and shift it into self. This is what I teach you to do. So if you're feeling obsessed with that research and constant fixation, and you're riddled with that constant self-doubt and confusion and fear of blowing up your life by leaving this situation, recognize that you have to become the woman that this just becomes a natural next step for you to reject this. If you've been faking this happy life, happy wife, like, on the outside, people think everything's great. And you start to feel like, well, he's a good guy. Look at him. He helps all these other people. Everyone else thinks he's so wonderful. Everybody thinks he's such a good dad. And he's going to paint me as the problematic one. You cannot control that. But many women believe I'm with a good guy or he's a good dad. No. He acts like one when it's convenient. You'll notice that. But when it's about like actual parenting, they evaporate. When it comes down to actually being a parent and a dad, where is he? It's usually when it looks good, right? So if you're feeling like, oh, I'm with this great guy and I'm the broken one, I'm the one with all the problems, that's a really big red flag. Sometimes they might even admit, oh yeah, I've been abusive. I've done all these things, or I have this issue or that issue. And so then you think, oh, well, okay, well, he's at least admitting that he's the problem, sort of. That doesn't mean anything. So what I recommend, if this resonates with you, is that you start your strategy. You start your plan. You get the support to actually learn the emotional self-mastery, learning how to step into and embody the woman who decides from clarity, who can show up to the impending separation and divorce proceedings. You know they're coming. You're pretty sure, right? So why not get on it now instead of just passively waiting for things to dissolve, and maybe it will blow things up because you let things escalate to a point where that's where it is, and then you don't have a plan and you don't have anything lined up, and then that will blow up your life. I've seen that. I've seen women come to me after they've already done things that really made things difficult for them. And I'm not a lawyer. I'm not obviously not a lawyer. However, what I do have women do is I created an actual checklist of like what you need to, and this isn't stuff you're going to find anywhere else, because I had to look at where I fucked up and what I wish that I had done differently, and what I wish I had known that I did not know, that no lawyer told me. I also felt like the lawyers were kind of useless. There was one that was gaslighting total you know what, and it was awful. Like, we put too much ownership or faith in lawyers, but they're just humans too. And this is the mistake I made. So this is why I share in my program how to not do that, how to make sure that you show up to the best of your ability. And this is what I do in my one-on-ones. I'm there for you. Like, the day of your proceedings, you have me on messaging, right? You are able to get touch points. You're not alone. That's what I wish I had at the time. And so you need to go at this like it's a business plan. Like, put on your business suit, and you're embodying that identity of that woman that is powerful, that is still in her integrity, but she's not taking any bullshit. And if there was one thing I could say as far as advice, that's it. Get yourself emotionally ready. Get yourself in the right mindset. Understand your weaknesses and your vulnerabilities so that they aren't used against you in manipulative tactics. Have all of the groundwork done before you even utter the word divorce. Have all of your shit handled. This is how you don't blow up your life. Or you can do it where you just leave it and let it just keep festering and declining and getting worse and worse to the point where you have no choice but to just get out, because it's gotten to that point and you have nothing planned. You can do it that way. Many women do it that way, but it doesn't go as well for them. And they're the ones usually that end up having these awful outcomes because they acted from their emotional triggers and their trauma. And I'm not talking to the women who are in a physically abusive, volatile situation. I'm talking to the women who are with these covert, manipulative a-holes that you can actually do a lot to manipulate them to just like not even allow it to get to you. There's things you can do. And women will say, well, it's not right for me to manipulate him. Bullshit, because that's been your whole entire relationship. So now you get to turn the tables and do a 180 on them, but it's done with integrity. It's a way that you can move about this without stirring the pot so that you can get the things you need to do so you can have the outcomes that you want to have. This is be, do, have. You need to be that woman that is going to do the things to have what it is you want. You've got to act in alignment with your future self now. Your future self is probably not going to stay in this. If you're like most women, you're smart, you're successful, you've got a good head on your shoulders, you have so much to give, and you're settling for this absolute nonsense relationship. So I'm just going to speak to you as if that is going to happen. So I want you to think about, what does future self me want? What would be the outcome that I want to have in this? And then what do I need to line up to make it as successful as I can? What kind of counsel do I need? What kind of strategy and consult do I need for my emotional mindset and strategy? Because lawyers aren't going to be able to give you any of that. You basically have to go in and tell them Like, I was really surprised about that part. And I realized I put too much faith that they would know the way and what to do. But it was, anyway. So don't do that. Don't do that. And if you want that level of support, and you want the whole exit planning and all of that, that's what I do in my one-on-ones. So you can get in touch with me about my private mentorship. It is an investment, and it is a 6-month minimum investment, and it's by application. And you can just get in touch with me via Instagram if you'd like to just get more details on that. And I'll see if we're a fit to work together. It is not for everybody. It's for women who are in that phase of, you want to go at this with a business plan mindset, and you want to protect yourself financially and otherwise, because you have a lot to lose, and you want to have that powerful mentorship in your back pocket, literally, as you're navigating. And if you're in a space where you're in that, I'm still obsessively researching, then you can hop into the Clarity Lounge or into the Inner Circle VIP, where you're going to get access to everything. So that's what I have right now for my mentorship spaces for probably this year. I don't know, who knows, but these are my core spaces, and I don't do very much one-on-one. It's very exclusive, and it's for a certain woman. All right. If this resonated with you, send me a message on Instagram. Come and say hi. Let me know what stood out to you. I would love to know. And if you have not already, please leave a rating and review, hopefully 5 stars if you love the show, if you've gotten anything out of it, even if it's one little nugget of wisdom or something that stuck with you. Share it in the iTunes app and let me know what stood out to you. And in the Spotify app, you can do it just with a review. You can't or a rating, pardon me. You can't leave a review written on Spotify. And if you want to do an extra step, share an episode with someone you know that might be experiencing something like this in their lives. When I think about someone in my life that did that for me, it's not something that you necessarily want to share, but someone in my life did this for me many, many, many years ago. And she said, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. And here's this book. And that really is what did it for me, because I didn't know what the hell was going on. And so many women, once they get into my podcast, especially in my, 2020 and up ones, where I was really focusing in on the narcissistic dynamics, which I don't talk about as much anymore because I have so many of them already there. So you can just scroll back to the archives of previous episodes. And I do put highlights and replays here on the show, and I will keep doing that. But those were episodes that women would come in and just resonate with, because it was something of embodiment. It was taught through embodiment, through my own experiences. And that's why when women listened to them, they were like, were you in my living room? Or were you in my house? And so that's the power of having mentorship from someone who gets it and has the skills and experience to actually move you through it into the next level. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll chat with you in the next one. Bye for now.